Hello everyone, it's NETFQ here again. So today we're going to do some PI, some planetary interaction, and the skills that you're going to need to do all this stuff is as follows. So planet management, we have pretty much everything at level 5 apart from remote sensing, which is at level 9, which is at level 4. There's no point it going to level 5 because I'm not going to scan anything within 9 light years. I mean, for PI, planet management, I'm only going to go as far as 2 jumps from my base. Otherwise, it's just too risky hauling that much stuff because you're going to need a freighter or a big cargo ship, and they're slow and easy to get tackled, especially out here in nullsec. So yeah, again, I'd only go at max 2 jumps away. So there's no point having remote sensing at 5. So everything else is at 4. We've got planetology that lets you interpret data from scans on planets gives you more increased resolution. And it just helps you survey things and come up with the perfect spot to put your extractor units down. Advanced planetology, again, it just increases the scan that you do. And command center upgrades, again, this one gives you more power. So if you have it up to 5, you can basically have the maximum power available, which allows you to put down the maximum number of modules on the planet's surface. Interplanetary consolidation, this is at level 5, which allows me to put infrastructure on 6 planets in total. So I've got plenty of room to move. My other 2 alts that I'm using can only put infrastructure down on 5 planets each. So that's 10 plus 6 here. So that's 16 planets in total that I can extract materials from, which is pretty good. So what I need is I need to make coolant. And one of the components to make coolant is water. So I've got my Iteron Mark V here, which is the only ship available currently that this alt of mine can fly. And in its cargo bay we have a couple of command centers. We have an oceanic command center and a temperate command center. So what we'll be using is the oceanic command center to put down on an ocean planet which is in the system. So in order to do that, we need to undock. Now there is a red in system, so I'm not going to go far. I'm just going to stop my ship right now, right outside the citadel here. So I'm still tethered. So this, the bad guy's left, so that's fine. But yeah, you only have to be in space. You don't need to be near the planet you're going to do this with. You just need to be in space somewhere. And what better way is to still be tethered to a citadel in the same system. Next thing we need to do is find out where this oceanic planet is. There it is, oceanic. It is the second planet in the list. So we just right click on it and we go view in planet mode. Right, and here is our planet. And this orbiting structure here, this is actually the shows you the orbit of the customs office. But anyway, so we just drag this down a bit. We can see, we go to our scan tab here, we can see aqueous liquids, I should say, and that's maxed out, so that's pretty awesome. So there's lots of these liquids on the surface, and these aqueous liquids is the component you need to produce water from, and this top bar at the top here is how you can adjust your scan resolution. So what I like doing is I just like having it way down low, so the two bars are as close together as possible. And then I just move them around up until you can't really get, so there's just a little bit of white showing. So say like this. So up here would be a great place to put our command center and our structures. But let's just have a look at the rest of the planet. Let's have a look at the South Pole. No, nothing really down there that we can use. Big white blob there. Not really worth it. So I think the best place to put our command center is up the top here, right next to this big white blob. So we twist the planet around. Right, let's do this. So we're just going to put it right here. So we go to build, and because we've got our oceanic command center in our cargo hold, we can use it and we can deploy it down on the planet just by clicking, and there it goes, right down on the planet. We submit that to lock our selection in place. Next thing we need to do is we need to upgrade it. So we click on it and then click on upgrade. We can see we can upgrade it all the way to max because I've got those command center, what's it called? Command center upgrades. I've got that at 5. So because I've got it at 5, I can upgrade it to level 6. So we upgrade that. Okay. Right. So the first thing I like to put down is a spaceport as a way to get my material up into the customs office so I can go and collect it. So we just put that there. Let's just probably put it the right way around so everything's in line and not sideways. Next thing I like to do is put a storage facility down. So we'll do that. We'll just put a storage facility here. And we need to link them together. So there are 2 ways to link them together. One, you can click on this create link here, or what I like doing is if I select that and then do a control, well actually hold down the control key, select that, and as you can see, still holding down the control key, you've got this line here. And if I select now the spaceport and then click that, take the control key away and then click down, as you can see it's now created it. So this link here, shows you it. So as you can see, maximum capacity for this link is 1250 M3 per hour, which is more than enough for what we're going to use that particular link for, which I'll come to later. Next thing I like doing is putting down a extractor head or extractor control unit. So we'll do that. And as you can see, if I zoom out, you can see this dark shaded circle. This is the distance around your extractor control unit that you can put your extraction heads. So as you can see, it's going to cover that big white blob pretty well, and the surrounding area. So I'll just put my extractor unit just down here, right next to the storage facility, and I'll go OK, submit that, and then I'll put a link between that and my storage facility and submit that. Now currently that link's going to be is not going to hold the capacity that it needs, and it's going to have to be upgraded, but I'll just show you the reason why I'm saying that in just one bit. So if I click on our extractor control unit, and if I come here and I say survey for deposits, it's going to bring up this little window here. And what you can do with this window is put your extractor head units down and the extractor area size as well. Now the area size is very important as it tells you the cycle time in hours and days and minutes that it will take to mine that certain amount of materials. So we select our Aqueous Liquids, and we can see we get the scan up again of that. And what I like doing is for the extraction area size, I like setting it to 1 day and 45 minutes. And I'll show you the reason for that. As you can see, for the current cycle, so if I set 1 hour, 1 day and 45 minutes, each cycle will take 15 minutes. If I make that any longer period of time, say 1 day 1 hour, as you can see it goes up to half an hour per cycle. But I like 15 minutes per cycle, and it's 1 day 45 minutes. So as long as I check this on a daily basis and restart it again, it's going to give me the most materials for that space of time. So if I now click on each one of these little knobs here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you've got 10 in total, and I do have enough power. As you can see, this is your power usage, and as you can see, it's slowly going up. But because I've got upgrades version 5, it won't be a problem to have all 10 extractor heads working. And as you can see on the map, they've come up, and you can actually move them around. Now you need to do this to get the most material mined. As you can see, every time I move one, the bar chart here changes. So for every cycle time, let's say, because I've got 15 minutes here, every cycle time of 15 minutes, I will get over 20,000 units until about there, which is 7.5 hours time. It'll drop down just below it, but then there'll be a spike again, and as you can see, after that spike it just slowly starts going down. So at the end of the 1 day and 45 minutes, I'll be getting around what's that? That's just over 10,000 units every 16 minutes, or as it says there, 68,000 units per hour. But again, this is all just estimation. Nothing set in stone. It just depends on your skill and everything else. But we can change that by putting all our extractor heads in the white circle, because this, as we saw on our scan, is where the heaviest deposits are, or the densest deposits are for our aqueous liquid that we want. So if I just put all of these heads, just lay them out just right in the center. Where can I put this guy? Over here. There we go. So they're all in there, as you can see. So I get 20,000, over 20,000 pretty much consistently, and at the end here I'm getting over 10,000. It's 12,000 units per cycle. So that's pretty good. That's awesome. Yeah, and as you can see, you've got a little program output down there. So I get 77,900 units per hour, and for a total of 1.8 million. So that's 1.9 million, I should say, units for the total duration. So if I install, there we go, and I submit just to make it active. Right, if we go back to it, as you can see, it's now starting. Cycle time is ticking away. So for the current cycle time, once 15 minutes has elapsed, I should get 26,000 units of aqueous liquids, which is fantastic. Now, we need to do something with them, because once this 15 minutes has expired, we're going to have all those liquids, and we need to put them somewhere. So we need to tell the extractor where to put them. So if I left click on the extractor and go to products, these are the output products that it's going to extract. If I click on that, it says not routed. So we need to create a route. We need to put these somewhere because they can't live in the extractor, because if they do, they're just going to be wasted. So we click here and say create route, and now we say where do we want these liquids to go. Well, if I hover over, let's just zoom in here a bit, if I hover over the storage facility, see that big red percentage there? It's saying that the current link between the extractor unit and the storage facility is over capacity, way over capacity. It's over capacity by 53.43%, which is not good, which means we can't route the material that we need. What we need to do is, if we hover over our link between the two things here, if I can get it, oh come on mouse, there we go. Alright, click on the link. We need to upgrade it. Alright, so this is the current. It only allows 1250 M3. We need to upgrade it to the next upgrade level, which obviously does take more power and more CPU, but it doubles the capacity of that link, which is what we need. So if I upgrade the link and confirm that, and we go back to our extractor unit, go to products, click on the product name and go create link. If we now hover over the storage facility, as you can see, it says plus 74.72%, which means that we are only using 76.74. We are only using 76% of that link's capacity, which is fantastic. That's what we want. So if I click on that, and it says the whole amount is going to go to the storage facility as a destination, and we go create link. Brilliant, and we submit that. So now all our aqueous liquids are going to go to our storage facility. And we can see that by, if we just hover over here, you can see the orange circle around the storage facility. That means that there is products going to it, which is what we want. Now the next thing we need to do is do something with those stored aqueous liquids. As I said to begin with, we need to create water. So we need to process the aqueous liquids to give us water. And how we do that is we go into processes. We need to have a whole bunch of these oceanic basic industry facilities. So I like starting off with 4 of them, and I like arranging them around the storage facility, and I'll show you why in a bit. So if I just go like that, and that, and that. Now the reason why I like these going as close together as possible is I'll just show you. If I come down here and I put this industry facility way down here, and I just submit all that, I'll just show you something really interesting. If I click here and here, as you can see, it's saying to create this link between this industry facility and the storage facility, it's going to use 15 megawatts of power and 25 teraflops of CPU. Distance is only 26 kilometers. Alright, so I'll actually create all those links anyway. See, it's not using much it's hardly using any power and any CPU. See, 14 and 24. But if you have longer links, like with this one, with this one down here, and I did the same thing, look at that. That's a distance of 337 kilometers, and look, the power is going to use 61 megawatts, and the CPU 83 teraflops. That's an excessive amount of power to be used and CPU to be used. That's why you should never have long links. You should always try and get as shorter links as possible, because they all do add up, because you have to link everything together. and it wastes your power consumption and your CPU consumption. So let's just delete this one here, and let's just put it back up the top with the rest of them, just to make the links as small as possible. Right, as you can see, I've created 4 industry facilities, and I've done them as a wheel around, like a star formation around the storage facility. So if I just submit that, now the next job we need to do is tell these industry facilities what they should be doing. So we click on one of them and go into schematics. What we want to do is we want to find the water schematic. So if I just press the letter W, we go to where the W's are. And as you can see, here we go, it's the last one on the list. And it's telling us that the output is 20 water and the input is 3000 aqueous liquids. And aqueous liquids is what our extractor unit is actually extracting from the planet and putting in our storage facility. So we're going to be using these aqueous liquids, and we'll be we will be using them to produce our output of water. So I need to install the schematic, this water schematic. So if I just go install, next thing it's going to tell us is for the output that you've selected, where do you want it to go? And again, we need to tell it to go somewhere, otherwise it's just going to vanish into thin air, we'll never see it again, and it's just going to be a complete waste of time us doing it. So we need to tell it to where to put it, and I like putting them directly to the spaceport, because that's where it's going to eventually have to go, because we need to get it back into space so we can come and collect it with our spaceships. So if I create a route and I select the spaceport and click it, and as you can see, it's saying that 20 water, when it's produced, which takes half an hour, by the way, every half an hour we get 20 units, and the destination for those units is going to be the Oceanics launch pad, or the spaceport. So if I go create that link, brilliant, done. So let's just do that with all 4 of them, just to get them all linked up. Right, water, create link, do it to the spaceport. Where's the third one? Down here. Alright, water, create, and turn it around a bit. Oh, screwed that one up. Create, spaceport, yes, submit it all. So if we hover over each of them, we can see that there is an orange circle around the spaceport, which is what we want to see, which means that all those links are fine. And as you can see, they've got percentages on each link. So the link between the industrial facility and the storage facility is 1.22%. That is the usage of that link, or the amount of that link which is used. And as you can see from the storage facility and the spaceport, we have 4.86. That's the current usage of that link. So the capacity used is 4.86%. That's because we've got 4 industry facilities sending their products through that one link between the storage facility and the spaceport. I hope that makes sense. So the next thing we need to do is, now that we've got all these links up to show where the output of water is going, we need to get the liquidus, or I should say not liquidus, what's it called? Aqueous liquids to these storage facilities. So how do we do that? Well, we click on the spaceport, not the spaceport, sorry, the storage facility, and there'd be nothing in storage. Why? Because we haven't mined anything yet. As you can see, the head unit has still got 5 minutes to go before we get any product going into the storage facility. But we can still create the links by clicking on this routes button or routes button, routes or routes depending on where you are in the world. If we click on that, we can see incoming. Incoming, we have that much incoming, right? But with that, even though we don't have it yet, it's still saying it's only incoming. We can still route it somewhere, which means that when it eventually does come in, it'll be routed out or routed out. So if we click on the incoming type, Aqueous Liquids, we can create a route, and we can create a route to each of our industry facilities. So let me just quickly do that. To each 3 of them. And that one. Brilliant. So now, yep, it's all linked up. All linked up. Brilliant. And that's it. So that's all we have to do. So we just let that sit here, and we should then get some output. So what I'll do is I'll pause the video now, and I will get back to you when we have some components coming into it. So see you in a bit. Right, it's been about 45 minutes, and it's gone through around. So the extractor head is extractor unit, sorry, is still mining away. We do have some surplus aqueous liquids. We've currently got 42,000 of them in the storage facility, which is fantastic. I always like having a buffer in the storage facility for my processing units to get. And as you can see in the launch pad on spaceport, we have our 80 water. So remember, each one of these processing units or industry facilities produce 20 water each. So there's 4 of them. 40 times 20 is 80. Hence why we've got 80, which is fantastic. So every half an hour we'll get 80 water. So yeah, leave that for about a day or so, and come along and then harvest away. But what I will be doing with probably within the next 6 hours, 12 hours, something like that, or maybe tomorrow, when we start getting a nice buffer of aqueous liquids in the storage facility, I'll actually up the number of industry facilities. I'll probably double the amount. It's just that if I double the amount now, there's not enough of these aqueous liquids in storage to be able to accommodate all the industry facilities that I want up. So hence why I only start with 4. I wait until I get a buffer of the raw material in my storage facility. Once it's about half full or just over, then I start to up the number of industrial facilities, just to maintain that buffer in there. So everything's flowing nicely, and there's nothing waiting on another thing to finish before it can process or start processing. So that's it. So as I said, I needed water for the coolant. The other thing which was needed for coolant, if I have a look at my little sheet here, is electrolytes. And you get electrolytes by processing ionic solutions, which you get from gas and storm planets. I do have my alt characters mining, or I should say extracting ionic solutions and processing it into electrolytes, which I then give to this character here, so he's got them in storage. So all we need to do is get some water, and then we can start setting up another planet to start producing coolant by processing water and electrolytes together. So that'll be in part 2. and I'll show you the process of doing that. But first of all, we need the water, so we'll let this go for probably about a day, and then get the water off the planet, and then we can start setting up our coolant processing facilities. And I'll show you that in part 2. So I hope you enjoyed this quick video. Again, if you have any questions or you're unsure about anything, just let me know. Always happy to help. And yeah, see you in the next one. Bye for now.